welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with yet another DCP video simply because A, I like filming them, B, I'm kind of in quarantine or lockdown or pause, whatever you want to call it currently, so there's only so many videos I can film that are like outside and about the city. So right now we're just going to continue with the DCP video. I was actually supposed to upload this for my last video, but I was actually waiting for this sweatshirt that I'm wearing to come in, and I'm super excited. I want to show it to you guys. It's so cute. So it looks like this. And it's from the collab with My Oh My Supply and Fantasy Feelings. They came out with a sweatshirt and a shirt that are both Disney College Program themed. And I have been looking for like DCP merch and like things like that for the longest, but I really wanted something that was like wearable and that I would wear more than just during my program. And when I saw the design for this one, I was like, holy cow, so cute. I love it so much. So the moment that they dropped them, I immediately copped. So I was just waiting for that to come in, and I will definitely link this sweatshirt and the t-shirt down below because they're so cute, and everybody should definitely go get one if you know you got accepted, you're waiting for your program, or even if like one day you might do the program. I don't know, I just think they're super cute and I think everyone needs one, so definitely go check those out. This totally sounds sponsored, but I really just love them, so I figured I would like let everyone know about them. So with that being said, I haven't even said what the video is yet. I'm going to be filming a video about my application journey for the Disney College Program. I'm going to be talking to you guys basically about like how my process went, and then I'm going to be sharing all the tips that I used and any tips I have. But with that being said, by all means, I'm not a professional, and using these tips may or may not get you accepted. I mean, considering this is my first time applying and my first time getting accepted, I only know so much. I just wanted to share with you guys the things that I used and the things that I think personally helped me get accepted to the program. I guess let's just get started. So as I say in every video, I am currently accepted to the Disney College Program Fall Advantage. I'm scheduled to start on May 18th, and then I'm scheduled to end January 7th. Hoping to extend, but we're not even there yet, so we're not going to focus on it. The Fall and Fall Advantage applications dropped January 13th of 2020, and that was the day I applied, and that is definitely the first tip that I have for everyone, is apply as early as you can. The college program recruiters do say that like time and like when you apply has nothing to do with you getting accepted, and I do believe that because I know they're not going to take like when you applied into consideration when they're thinking about whether or not you would be fit for the program. But the reason I suggest applying earlier than later is because at the end of the day, when it is earlier, there are more spots open. Considering the first day I applied, all the spots were open for the program. So I would definitely suggest that if you can apply earlier, definitely apply earlier, just because like I said, they have more spots open and things like that. So it's a lot easier in my opinion to get accepted. So the applications dropped January 13th at noon Eastern time. So I immediately logged in right as the applications dropped, and it did take me about 18 minutes to complete the application. I do know that it takes some people longer or some people a shorter amount of time. One thing I do suggest, which is something that I did, before the applications drop, you can actually go to the Disney College Program website and you can make yourself an account and you can start filling out some of the things before the application drops. So that's what I did, and that's definitely something that like helped me speed up that initial application process. I went in and I like re-edited everything, and I wanted to make sure that everything was perfect before I clicked that submit button. So that's definitely one thing that I did and something that I suggest. It just calms your nerves and it gives you something to work on, because before the applications drop, everybody's like freaking out and we're always like so ready for them to drop. So that was something that helped me, you know, calm my nerves and still get myself excited for the application, because even though apps hadn't officially dropped, I was still going in and filling that out. So when the applications drop, they give you 5 spots, I believe, to talk about experience. And I know some things that people freak out about is that they don't have a lot of work experience or anything like that, but do not worry. It's not just work experience, it's anything in an environment that I guess like taught you skills, so you can use work experience, volunteer experience. I know some people use club experience, especially if you're like a president or like on the board of a club. That would be really helpful just to show that you have these skills and you're able to handle stressful situations. So I did fill up all 5. 4 out of 5 I listed were jobs, and then 1 out of 5 were some fundraisers that I was working on last semester with one of my professors. And my recruiter actually asked about the fundraisers in my phone interview, which I did upload, so if you want to watch that, that will also be linked below. My recruiter did ask about the fundraisers, so I think that she thought that was interesting. I don't think that had anything to do with me getting in, but it did create conversation within me and my recruiter during my phone interview. On the initial application, you go through and you talk about all the roles that you'd be interested in or you wouldn't be interested in. You basically rank each of them like high interest, medium interest, low interest. And one thing that I did that I kind of regret, so every single role that I was interested in, I put high interest in. And I just personally, in my head when I was applying, I was like, oh, like that's gonna show them that I'm like super interested in the program and I'm immediately gonna get in. While it is suggested that, you keep your interest wide and you don't really put no interest in a lot of roles, that's just because it gives you more options of what you can be chosen for. I definitely wouldn't suggest putting high interest in every single thing unless you really just don't care where you're put. With that being said, any role that you put interest in, you will be considered for and you can get it. So a lot of people like to put low interest for quick service food and beverage, custodial, things like that, because they think they won't get accepted for it. But then when they get accepted and they're offered that role, they get really angry because they're like, oh my God, I didn't want that. But if you do not want a role and you don't see yourself being able to work in that role and you don't think you'll be happy in that role, put no interest. I saw so many people that got accepted and they were like, ew, I hate my role, I'm declining because I got this role. And I'm like, if you didn't want it, like, don't put interest in it. While I was okay with absolutely any role that I could have gotten, there were also definitely roles that I would have wanted more than other roles. So for example, the 2 top roles that I really wanted were Bippity Boppity Boo and Front Desk. But then I realized, like, after my whole process was over, that there was absolutely no way for Disney to know that because I put high interest in literally everything. So when I got my role, it wasn't one of my top roles. I'm still very happy with the role I got. I'm very happy to be working for Disney. But like, for a second, I was like sad that I didn't get any of like my top 3 roles. And then I was like, wait, dude, like, they didn't even know what your top 3 roles were. Like, Disney's magical, but they're not that magical. They can't read your mind. Another thing I suggest, and this is just with honestly, any job application in general. So my school is really big with our career services center. We have resume workshops and things like that. And I got to attend one last semester, and I honestly think it helped me so much with this application because one of the things we talked about in the resume workshop is the applicant tracking system. And it's just basically something that big companies use. Not only big companies, but a lot of big companies use them. And I personally think that Disney uses them. I know a lot of people argue about this topic, but this is just my opinion. And I think that Disney probably uses one because they get so many freaking applications for the program. So an applicant tracking system is it takes keywords from the job description or keywords that Disney would want to see, and it like scans through all the initial applications and it picks things out from those applications if they use like certain words, if that makes sense. So going into that, I'm going to be talking about the 4 keys of Disney. I know a lot of people, this is also really controversial. A lot of people think that Disney doesn't care if you use that in your application. A lot of people think they do. What I can tell you is that has nothing to do with you getting accepted or not, because I have watched videos and I have talked to people that didn't use any of the keywords and they still got through to their web-based interview. I got my web interview. But with that being said, like I said, I submitted my initial application at 11:18, and at 11:20 I got my email for my web-based interview. So this is just another tip that I think personally helped me with my application. What I always say is be very careful with how you word your past experiences. I used to fill out my resume like this all the time, and I literally look back and like cringe. I'm like, sis, what were you doing? So like, for example, if I was a cashier, I'd be like checking people out, bagging groceries, like things like that. Very like simple, nonchalant ways of describing my job. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are cashiers. So I had to describe it in a way that is like, yeah, I'm a cashier, but this is what it taught me. One tip that I have, besides the keywords, because I haven't even gotten to those yet, something that's always helped me with filling out resumes is you definitely want to make it like sound like something. You don't want it to be like, I just like bagged groceries, you know what I mean? Like you want it to like be like provided guest service. One tip that I have is for my past jobs. For example, I used to work for the Francesca's company. When I was filling out my resume beforehand, I go back and I look at applications for the job that I worked, because on those applications, the employer will usually list what your responsibilities are. So I'll look at those and I'll kind of like see like, okay, I did do that. You know, these are things that I did while working this position. And then I'll take it and I'll reword it in a very professional way. And it's better when you're reading it to be like, ooh, like this person provided guest service rather than this person just checked people out. So the 4 keys of Disney that everyone talks about, and then once you start training, they're gonna literally get drilled into your head. That's all you ever hear. The 4 keys are safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. They're also in the job description when you go and apply. So like I was describing the applicant tracking system, you usually take words from the job description and your application, they see if they match. So I did use, I think, every single word but show in my resume. I'm gonna read you guys some things that I put on my application, so it like kind of explains to you more like how I went about wording my job descriptions as well as using the 4 keys in my application. Okay, so I went ahead and I grabbed my computer and I logged back into the Disney College Program application website, and I actually got to bring my application back up, so I'm literally gonna be reading you guys exactly what I put on there. So the first way I went about using courtesy was I actually used the word courteous instead of courtesy, but I put it in the description of my on-campus job at the time. I put answering phone calls and emails during shift at the desk in a professional, courteous manner. So another huge thing at Disney is safety. That's one of the 4 keys, but it's also something that they really care about. So the first thing I put for my waitressing job was maintained a clean environment behind the counter and throughout the dining room to ensure the safety and satisfaction of all guests. And on that note, Disney refers to all of their park goers or their customers as guests. I literally cringe at that word because luckily I had a job beforehand that literally only used the word guest. And if we referred to our guests as anything as like customers or anything like that, we would get in a lot of trouble. And I definitely understand why guest just sounds so much nicer. But like I said, so when you are going about your application, definitely try to use guests instead of customers. And then for the last of the keywords, efficiency, I said that I efficiently assembled all orders for dine-in and to-go guests following the proper guidelines. So right after I submitted my application, 2 minutes later, I got sent the email about my web-based interview, and let me tell you guys, I was like shocked. It can really go either way. Like there's people that I talked to before application dropped and we applied on the same day at the same time and there's still an application received. I did go in and immediately do my web-based interview, and when I was like studying for this application process, I really couldn't find a lot about the web-based interview. So I was kind of confused at first. But then when it came to taking it, like I understood why people don't talk about it a lot, because there's really not too many tips that we can give about it because it's all based on you. So the web-based application really is like, it's just like describing behavior almost. And it's like you strongly agree, you strongly disagree. It really all depends on you as a person. And one big tip that I found beforehand and that I definitely agree with is try to A, stay consistent, and B, try to stick with strong answers. I've spoken with people that have done the application process many times, and you can fail the web-based interview. And I've spoken to people in the past that have failed it, and then when they came back and took it again and stayed with strong answers, they passed it. I don't know the algorithm. I can't promise anything. That's just something that I did. A lot of the questions in the web-based interview, there's a lot. I don't remember how many there are, but a lot of them are the same questions stated in a different way. So one question Disney can ask you is like, say something like, I'm always on time. And then another question like on a completely different page can be like, I'm a punctual person. If you agree that you're always on time, but then you disagree that you're punctual, they kind of like catch you in that and they're like, wait, like that doesn't make sense. None of us know the algorithm. I don't even know if the recruiters necessarily know the algorithm because it is computer based. So after you complete your web-based interview, like I said before, you either pass or you fail. If you pass, congratulations, you get to schedule your phone interview. If you failed, I am so sorry. And you have to wait 6 months after a failed web-based interview to apply again. I immediately got the sign that I passed and I literally started freaking out. I started like hitting my friend. I was like, oh my God, like I did it. So then I went ahead and I scheduled my phone interview for January 16th at 1:30 p.m. So for the next 3 days after I got to schedule my phone interview, literally all I did was sit in bed with my computer and I watched a bunch of phone interview videos. But I do see other people that said they watched a lot of phone interviews and they felt like they needed to be like those other people. So they think that that's a reason why they maybe didn't do so well in the phone interview. Definitely think of the kind of person that you are, whether or not you should be watching like a ton or maybe just watch 1 or 2. So with the roles that I put down, I went through and I found this page with literally like, I think it was like 150 like possible questions you could be asked on your phone interview, and I went through them and I like kind of like picked some ones that either I saw in phone interviews or I thought that I could answer well for each role that I applied for. I went through and I made flashcards about different questions, but with that being said, do not script your answers. Don't do it, because Disney wants to hear from you. They want it to be genuine. Answer realistically and in a normal manner. So when you're going and making your notes or your flashcards or however you want to do it, do talking points. When I felt myself like steering off of what I wanted to talk about, I could look and like see the talking point and then restart like my thought and like what I wanted to say, but it wasn't too scripted. The thing that I got all my questions from, I'm gonna link in the description because it's like super helpful, and I definitely think you should look over some questions. Another thing that everyone suggests, and I feel like this is just so obvious, but definitely have a quiet, safe place to do your interview. Personally, I went to the library, as anyone who watched my phone interview can see, because the librarian came in and yelled at me. But like that's not the point. It's not the point. It's really just not the point. Just keep your mind clear. Try not to psych yourself out. And I think the last tip I have for when it comes to your phone interview is smile. They can hear you smiling through the phone. That is such a big thing. Like, you can hear when someone's happy, and like you don't want to just talk in like a monotone voice, because Disney is supposed to be the happiest place on earth. So if they hear you just talking in a monotone voice, you might not get accepted. So definitely try to smile when you're talking to them. Show them that you're happy to be speaking to them, that you would be so incredibly happy to work for the Disney company. So by any means, if you have any questions about anything regarding the application process, feel free to comment them down below, or if you'd like to DM me on Instagram, I will definitely reply to you, and feel free to like pick my brain about the application process or anything in general. I will answer all your questions. Yeah. If you guys like this video, or if it helped you at all, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more Disney college program related videos, or more just like college content in general, because I still am a college student, feel free to subscribe, because especially during this little self-isolation type thing that's going on with the world right now, I have so much time to make videos, and that is a goal of mine. Follow me on social media. I feel like I never say that, but like, please follow me on social media. Oh, I finally made my Dinsta. That will be in the description as well. Please follow it. I never know how to say bye. So I will see you guys later. Okay, thumbnail time.